Well, that was a pretty intense day to the downside on the market today. Really big supply rejections on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, but not only technical rejections, some interesting things going on with the banks. JP Morgan down over 6%, XLF leading the downside move, and this other bank, SIVB, I'm sure you guys heard about this one today, taking $2 billion in losses, doing a capital raise, causing some pressure to the downside on the financials. Some major things to be paying attention to. In today's video, we're going to go over some updated levels on the S&P, on the NASDAQ futures. Make sure we are prepared into tomorrow after some pretty major breakdowns today. We broke some key levels. We need to reassess these levels, and in today's video, we're going to go ahead and do exactly that. So if you enjoyed today's video after watching it, if it helps you throughout the rest of the week, press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump into the charts. So before we jump into the technical levels on the futures contracts, I just want to share with you guys what happened today on the XLF. This is the XLF hourly chart, and this right here is today's price action. There was not a single green candle on the hourly chart today on the XLF. This was down over 4%. This is a major move for a bank ETF like the XLF. This is something that you better be paying attention to in the upcoming trading days. This led the downside today, and this is slightly concerning. XLF is coming down into a huge level here. If we go to the 4-hour chart, a monster downside move right back into this 33 level. That is something to be paying attention to, right? XLF does not drop 4% all the time. There is something going on here with the banks. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research myself. This video is very fresh after the close today, so I am going to do more research. If you guys want to drop what you're seeing on the banks, make sure to drop them down in the comments below. I'm sorry I can't educate you on that as of right now, but I wanted to get this video out with some updated technical levels. As you guys know, I like to trade off technicals, but I do want to pay attention to this XLF move. So big move to the downside on the XLF, on the banks. And if we go to JP Morgan, this was a crazy flush on JP Morgan today. Down 5.4%. Really big drop through that 138 level. Something going on here as well, causing that downside on the market. And if we go over to the SIVB stock, this is SVB Financial. They came out and did a capital raise yesterday. They had a huge loss, about a $2 billion loss, had to raise cash, and this was the result on this stock today. Over 60% to the downside, a major drop on this bank. I think this caused some pressure on the entire banking sector today. I think this is the main reason why you saw that XLF drop so much. There could be other outstanding reasons, but this is the first thing that comes to mind. SIVB down 60%. Huge move on this stock, something to be paying attention to as well. So overall, I would pay attention to these financials throughout the rest of the week into next week, see how this sort of develops. But now let's go ahead and jump into the technical level, which is where I will be mainly focusing on. Regardless of that news, I'm always going to be trading off these futures levels. Where's the levels? Where's the futures? Where am I trading off of? That's what's important to me. That's what my trading strategy is. I'm not going to deviate from my trading strategy because the bank stocks are taking a big dive to the downside. I'm going to understand what's going on, but I'm not going to change what I'm doing. I'm not going to start buying puts on banks just because they're going down. I'm going to stick to my strategy, the break and retest, my technical levels, but I did want to bring that up in today's video to make sure you are aware of it if you are watching today's video. So here's the futures. Here's the S&P 500. This is the 4-hour chart, and we have some updates here to be looking at. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start here on the hourly chart and start to explain some of the levels that are on my chart here, and we can see exactly what happened. We'll start zoomed in, and then we will zoom back out, and I'll talk to you about some of these levels. So today, this was the move today. We had a push to the upside today for the first 2 hours of the market. We had a push to the upside off of our 39.75 demand. So we held that 39.75 yesterday. We held it in the pre-market today, and we got that demand push off that level back to the upside. Now this move went right into the 40.20 supply, and this was our previous rejection point all right here, right? So we had rejections here back on Wednesday of 2 weeks ago. Thursday, we had a rejection. Monday of 2 weeks ago, we had that rejection as well at 40.20, and you can see that we moved back into that 40.20 today, had a major rejection of that supply zone, and look at the reaction that we had. Now, this is not a typical supply rejection, right? To go straight down this far, this fast. There's obviously a driver behind this, which is why I brought up that XLF today. But regardless of the XLF move, look at how clean the supply rejection was today on the ES. Perfect 40.20 supply here, and we rejected it once again today. So we clearly are having a lot of trouble up there at the 40.20. Now, this move is a market breaker move, right? We broke down this demand. We broke down the 200 and 100 SMA demand, and now we are sitting back at that 3,900 level. So now that we sort of understand what the 1 hour chart looks like here, right? The 40-20 supply, we broke the 39.75 demand. We broke the 39.50 demand where the 200 and 100 SMA are, a major move through these levels. This is again why we have to be paying attention to some other outside data. Technicals can be invalidated, and today was a great example of that. These levels did not hold up. On other days where we don't have major news or major things sort of moving the market, like financials were today, you can see these levels were respected, right? We moved down, we held demand. We moved down, we held demand. We moved back up, we held demand, pushed to the upside. Rejected supply here, we rejected supply here. So you can see these levels were respected until we had something that was influencing the market, which was today on those financials. So a big drop through this demand, 39.75, 39.50, and now we find ourselves down here at the 3,900. And now I'll zoom out so we can see what this level is. So zooming out to the 4 hour chart, deleting some of those lines to make this a little bit cleaner, you can see that this 3,900, 39.15 zone on the ES is going to be very major here in the next few trading days. Tomorrow into next week, you guys can see this is a previous demand back here. This is back in December. This was another rejection, 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 and again, a rejection all during December as well. So you can see that this level was being respected back here. We had this 3,900 to 39.15 zone that was multiple rejections here back in December. We had rejections here or support back here in December as well. And then you can see once we got back above it, we had that support step in again. So clearly, this 3,900 level is very important. Multiple rejections, multiple demands that stepped up there, right? One there, rejections, rejections, support, support. You can see support stepped up there a little bit over the last few weeks, and now we are trading back at it. So how do we look at this market over the next few days? We have to be very cautious shorting into this 3,900, 39.15. Yes, the market looks very aggressive to the downside, but the people that won are the people that shorted at the supply, right? The people that won today are maybe the people that took shorts at 40.60 or the people that took shorts today at that 40.20 supply, right? Those are the people that really killed it today. The ones that took the shorts at supply and traded it back into demand. Now, tomorrow, you know there's going to be some people out there looking for more puts, trying to play that FOMO, and you have to be aware of this demand down here. You have this previous demand, all these previous rejections, this previous double bottom right here. This is going to be a big level on the market. Not only is it a big level, it's that psychological 3,900 level, so watch out for that tomorrow. Now, if we do break under 3,900 tomorrow, if we turn it into a rejection, there is not much between this 3,900 and this 3,800 level here on the S&P 500 futures. You can see this is pretty much just a channel from back in December. We traded between 39 and 3,800 for just about a month here until we broke out. Now, if we get back in this range, we could easily see this market slip to the demand lows, to the channel lows around that 3,800 level. So watch out for a little rejection of 3,900. If we start trading under 3,900, things could get a little bit slippery on this market. I would watch out for that 3,900 level tomorrow if we trade into it. Now, I want to pull up the 1 hour chart here because where can we look for rejections if the market does bounce off 3,900? Where do we have to be watching for potential rejections, right? Because just because we hold 3,900 does not mean that there's a very strong upside move. We want to be watching where maybe a little dead cat bounce can go into. Where do we have to watch on rejection points to the upside? The first level that I would be paying attention to, guys, is the 200 SMA. If we bounce tomorrow and we move back into the 200 SMA and we reject there, that is still, in my opinion, a pretty bearish move. So I would make sure you have your level here at 39.50. I would make sure you guys know where that 200 and 100 SMA is. If we get a little dead cat bounce tomorrow off this 3,900 demand, we could see a little push into that 39.50, 200 SMA, and that is where this move could fade once again. So make sure to watch tomorrow. If we get that dead cat bounce, do not hope and pray for too much upside. Make sure you're aware of this supply rejection up at 39.50. That is a previous low right here. That is a previous low right here. Previous low once again. This is also the 200 and 100 SMA. And I would expect that if we push back into that level tomorrow, if we get a little dead cat bounce into this 39.50, I would expect there to be some weakness at this level. I would be paying attention to this tomorrow during your trading. So as of right now, the levels that I can share with you that I am pretty confident in is 3,900 demand. If we hold that level, look for maybe a little bit of a dead cat bounce into that 3,950 and then watch out for that 3,950 tomorrow. If we break under that 3,900, if we do not see any kind of dead cat bounce and we just flush under that 39, look to see if there is a retest rejection at 3,900. Under that level, I think things can get a little bit slippery. If I go back to the 4-hour chart, you will see there is not much support down there under 3,900. You have a previous channel that if we start to trade back into under 3,900, things could get a little bit ugly. So watch 3,900 to 3,800. This is a pretty unknown zone here, pretty much just a previous channel. If we hold that 3,900, look for that dead cat bounce into the 200 SMA at 3,950. As of right now, those are the most important levels that I believe I want to share here on the ES, 3,950, 3,900, and that major channel down below. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the NASDAQ. All right, guys, so we are now on the hourly chart on the NASDAQ futures, and you can see once again the NASDAQ had that same type of morning pop to the upside as the ES. We got that morning pop here off this 12,150 level. This was a previous rejection point that turned into a short-term support. Right here around 12,150, you can see previous rejections here turned into support here over the last few days. We got that short-term pop, but where did that short-term pop move into? It moved right back into these previous lows, this previous high, and you can see, look at that supply rejection up there at 12,300, a major rejection of 12,300, and a major downside move. Of course, not a normal downside move off supply, definitely being led by something else, the financial sector. And I even more believe that it was the financial sector that caused the downside today because we didn't see as big as a drop on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ was down less than the S&P 500 today. As you guys know, financials is a major part of the S&P 500. The NASDAQ is still above that 200 SMA, still above the 100 SMA, and still holding an interesting demand here around 12,000. So we didn't see that underperformance on the tech sector today. It was very heavy on the ES due to the financials. So you can see major rejection here at 12.3 on the NASDAQ, and now we are trading back in this green zone. This is this 12,000 psych level. If I go out to the 4-hour chart, you can see that this 12,000 level was some previous triple tops here back in November and December, so that's going to be a very important level to watch. You can see this was a support here. This has been support sort of over the last few weeks. We did slip below it, but you can see the willingness to stay above that 12,000 and that 200 SMA. And you can see that today we moved right back into that level. So in my opinion, if the NASDAQ is to turn 12,000 psych level into a rejection and lose this 200 SMA, that is where I think this downside can continue. If we start to turn this triple top back into a rejection, if we see a move like this, back under 12,000, start to see some rejections at 12,000, stay below that 200 SMA, that would be my trigger to look for another downside move on the NASDAQ. 12,000 is the level that I'm watching into tomorrow. Previous triple top here, previous major rejection. We're trading right at it as of close today. If I go down to the 5-minute chart, you're going to see how we reacted at that level today. So right here, 5-minute chart, you can see the market tried to hold its best at 12,000 today and that 200 SMA. If we start to lose this tomorrow, that is where I would look for that continuation. If we do get a move off that 12,000, I would be looking for a retest of these previous lows. So if we see some kind of a dead cat bounce on the NASDAQ tomorrow, I would look for a little dead cat into 12,150, the previous lows here, and then see if this starts to weaken once again. This is the same concept that if we go to the ES, we look for the dead cat back into the lows at 39.50, right? If we get that little morning pop off 3900, we look for that dead cat into 39.50. This is the same concept as the NASDAQ. If that demand holds temporarily, look for that dead cat into that 12,150 on the NASDAQ. That could be a level to look for that fade once again. So overall here on the NASDAQ, I would be watching 12,150 tomorrow for a potential rejection. I would be looking at 12,000 to see if it holds. And if we lose 12,000, that is where I think that downside continuation could possibly come in. So I hope that you use today's video as a way to update your levels on your NASDAQ and S&P 500 charts. Make sure to pull them up while you're watching the video. Update some of those levels. make sure to watch some of these tomorrow. This is going to be very crucial, right? We're sitting at some major levels, 3,900 on ES, 12,000 on the NASDAQ. If we start seeing these lose, if that XLF starts to drop even more tomorrow and drags the S&P 500 with it, make sure to be paying attention to that. That is definitely what caused the ES weakness today. Watch those financials tomorrow and into next week. Something I would definitely be paying attention to over the next few trading days. If you guys enjoyed today's video, press that like button, subscribe to the channel for some more technical analysis. And of course, the best place to get these technicals live as they unfold is in the pre-market live stream every single morning. We talked about that 12,003 on the NASDAQ, that 4020 on the ES, some very clean supply rejections. If you caught them, congratulations. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.